Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video today. Today we're going over Death Blessing Amara. Call this one Death's Kiss Amara. So we're going to go over the skill trees, the gear, and then we're going to show you a little bit of mobbing and bossing with the build. So, green tree is very nice and simple. I do root to rise just to move down the tree, and personal space just for bonus damage. The closer I am to the target, I get 54% of my damage dealt. These two don't really matter as much as arms deal because arms deal is where all the damage is going to be coming through. You get increased splash damage and you take reduced splash damage. The splash damage is going to be the important part for how we set up the build. Into the red tree, which is going to be going down to capstone. Steady hands is for weapon handling and accuracy. Infusion, you can put 5 points into infusion now. There used to be a bug a while ago where if you put more than 1 point into infusion, it would actually count against all the damage that you were doing. But infusion at 5 is totally fine now. Wildfire for 1 just to spread status effects. Tempest is huge because you get all that elemental damage and shock damage increased even further. Dread, if we're going to be using the hybrid version of this build, we can actually swap out to Ties That Bind just in case we want to switch off a phase cast. Deep Well for mag size with elemental weapons. Indiscriminate so that we can ricochet bullets. Catharsis as 1 because this is a decent skill to have 1 point into. I learned last time that Catharsis is actually really decent. I didn't have it in my last version of this build, so I updated it to have 1 in this one here. Conflux, 4 points into it. Conflux is going to be a lot better of a choice than Anima because Anima, I noticed, will kill you more than it will kill enemies. So we don't really need Anima. Sustainment at 1 because all you need is 1 point into it. Any more than 1 point into sustainment is a waste of points. And finally, Forceful Expression. Amara's guns deal bonus elemental damage based on our action skill element.
I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the band. To the band
Of Bflattened. Well, thank you for that resub. I appreciate that a ton. That's very kind of you. No, you do not keep money in Iridium you earn in Arms Race if you go back to Sanctuary. It's only strictly in Arms Race. So we have fast hands for reload, weapon swap speed, and mode switch speed because we're using a lot of Malawan items. Do harm and violent tapestry to move down the tree. Restless for action skill cooldown rate since we're going to be having 2.
I pledge allegiance.
Transcend for 3 points for accuracy and crit. Of Bflattened. Alacrity for the reload speed at 5. Ben me, thank you for that sub. I appreciate that a ton. Welcome on in, dude. Enjoy the emotes. Very kind of you. And to you as well, Moltake. Enjoy the emotes as well. From rest for fire rate and charge time. Increased damage with Laid Bear whenever you damage something with an action still. You open a vault for our chest and arms race and it gave you 500 iridium. Yeah, you don't keep that, unfortunately. Amara gains increased gun damage. This effect is increased after she activates her action skill. It is doubled up because of our class mod. We need 1 point into Remnant just so that we can activate the Death Blessing effect itself. Any more than 1 point in the Remnant is a complete waste because the Overkill is just going to one-shot anything anyways. And Avatar so that we can activate 2 action skills so we can get more procs for Remnant, which in turn gives us our Death Blessing. And finally, in the purple tree, we have Heavy Rain, which is more splash damage, projectile speed as well, so that we can have our Malawan-related items get more projectile speed, and all of our weapons are doing splash damage, so it's really good to have. We have 2 points into Atman from our class mod. We get increased action skill damage, which if we're using Tandava, it will give us an additional 18% splash. Onto our gear here. We're using a solid Malawan set of the Trevinator, the Stark DNA, and the Free Radical. I use Kill Stack on my DNA and my Free Radical because Kill Stack is probably one of the better choices to have if you're using just a solo weapon. Killing an enemy grants 13% weapon damage and reload speed for 25 seconds, and it stacks 10 times. So you can get 130% additional weapon damage. Trevinator, I use splash damage just to mix it up a little bit because I don't main the Trevinator. This is just here for if I need something to wipe out with either fire or cryo damage really, really quickly. And then the yellow cake is also a nice choice as well if you want to blow up something really quick. This can also indiscriminate, so the ricochet bullets, it can actually ricochet the explosion. So if you want to have some fun with that, you can. And it's radiation, of course, because there's also splash damage increased on it as well. I use a Revolter with Action Skill Start just for additional fire rate and shock damage. Pissnade for bonus corrosive damage on Action Skill End and also debuffs. Death Blessing, really, really, really solid find with weapon crit, splash damage, and splash radius. And finally, the Mellow One Company Man. AoE, mag size, action skill cooldown rate with 40 mag, 40 fire rate, 50 crit. If you don't have DLCs, that's totally fine. There is a vanilla hybrid of this. You can switch over to the Phase Zerka with splash, pistol, and weapon charge speed, which will put your weapon charge speed over 100%, making your Mellow One related items really, really quick. And your free radical would then exchange to a Hell Shock, and also your company man would change into a Pearl of Knowledge. Your Revolter would also have to switch out to probably an Old God. It is a DLC for DLC 2, but I know a lot of people have Season Pass 1 and don't have Season Pass 2, so that would be a good Season Pass 1 item to have. If you don't have any of those, I would probably go with... That's a good call. I would probably go with a Stopgap or Transformer. Just anything really to give you some action skill and element. There's not really a whole lot of damaging shields in vanilla. That will be really useful. So anyways, let's go ahead and get right into the build. I made the free radical because it does a lot of damage. Swing in with our Tandava. If we don't get a kill with Remnant, we can just do it again. Doesn't look like I'm getting the kill with Remnant there either. There's Remnant Ball. Gonna kill that guy. And then the Death Blessing will give us a Blessed Orb. Now we have increased damage. And everything kind of just melts in front of us. The more kills that we get with the free radical in our hand, we'll stack our damage even further with our kill stack annoyance. Thank you so much for that gifted sub to Xander Species. Xander Species, enjoy the emotes, you absolute legend. I appreciate that a ton. Very, very, very kind of you. Not gonna kill me here. It is nice. And that's why I don't like to have anima. That's entirely why I don't like to have anima. That was just a barrel there that killed me instead. If you have anima, like I was saying earlier, that will happen a lot more often. Now that we have 0 anima, it won't happen as often. But barrels will still be there to completely blow you up. Sorry for the absence? No, never be sorry, never be sorry. You're here now, that's what counts. You're here now, that's what counts. Let's go ahead and switch it up to DNAs for the next little area. And then I'll show you what you can do with the Phase Zerka version if you're using the vanilla version of the build. You'll see how fast the free radical, or in this case, if you don't have DLC, Hell Shock, will work for you. So the DNA is actually a really solid SMG. It's also Mallow one that will shoot one of every element, so it does not have a node switch on here. With the kill stack as well, you can get additional weapon damage on top of it, and reload speed. Very fast reload. With our fire rate and charge time into Amara's blue tree, we can do a lot of really fast buffs with it as well. And finally, it does splash damage, like Arms Deal and Heavy Rain are going to be boosting for us. Makes it so it does a lot of damage. Let's kill you off. Alright, so now let's go ahead and switch over to the Phase Zerker. Now, this is going to be solid for the free radical or Hell Shock, whichever one you end up using. Splash damage, pistol damage, and weapon charge speed This is going to pump our weapon charge speed over 100%, which will make it so that the free radical becomes pretty much a full auto pistol without any charge time. Pretty nice. And then, of course, when you combine that with kill stack, you get the additional weapon damage and reload speed with it as well. More that you kill, the better it gets. Can stack up to 10 times, like we mentioned earlier. So now we won't be getting any orbs because that's just off the Death Blessing itself. However, Remnant will still proc for us, which will do overkill damage to whatever it seeks out and kills. It'll probably overkill for at least a couple million. I'd be willing to say at least triple-digit millions on whatever it'll hit. Let's go ahead and power our way to Traunt, kill off Traunt a couple times, and I'll show you how the build works for bossing. It's pretty much straightforward. It's the same as what you've been seeing for mobbing, but the damage potential is really high. Slapping on the Revolter is just really, really dirty on pretty much every build in existence, but Amara utilizes that shock damage just a little bit more. Fire rate on all these Halloween related items, never a bad choice either. Alright, let's go kill Traunt a couple times. We'll do Phase Zerker first, just because we have it equipped already. You... And then we just melt. Goodbye. So that's with Phase Zerker. I don't think I had Phase Zerker proc there even, so we could have done even more damage. Then we'll do Death Blessing. Death Blessing is not really going to be more of a bosser, because we can't get the Death Blessing to proc, unless there's mobs around, of course. However, the Death Blessing with the 3 points into the blue skill tree will be a solid choice, because just activating our action skill will give us more weapon damage with Wrath. Blessing, alright. But what I could do, we can just blow up one of these guys. Get Remnant to proc. Remnant will seek out him, kill him off. We'll pick up the orb. And then we melt. It will be a little slower than Phase Zerker, but Death Blessing is a solid choice for mobbing. And I would probably suggest a Phase Zerker for bossing. I think that's going to be all for Death Blessing Amara. I think I've covered pretty much everything. Feel free to take a peek throughout the entire build. There's a lot of fun things in here. Phase Zerker in there. Decent Elementalist, couple drivers if you want to play with those. 5 Anima if you want to play around for that with some reason. Pepper's Launchpad, I usually like to throw one of these on every build, just in case you run out of ammo. Pearls, if you want to do a Guardian Angel with Tandava, that's also possible. Another Malawan Company Man if you want to play with that. And that's the entire build. The game save will be inside Discord as always. My name is Bflattened, guys. I'm signing on out of here. Take care all. Laters.